Okay. All right, guys. So today we are going to be working on user authorization actually. So different user authorization on a specific route. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Abiola, you once said something about what's it called? Access control, right? So we're going to be um we're going to like use that as a case study. So let me just quickly share my screen. All right. So I believe you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this system. It's quite big. The screen is huge. Okay, so the screen is actually it's quite big. It gives room for splitting of screens. Okay, so yeah, where's our model? We have our model here, and I can. So we have our user model here. So what this just do is it handles our schemas, right? Sorry. So we created our schemas here. Actually, lots of schemas. So we have account schema, profile schema, also permission schema. So we're going to work on the permission authorization. So it's actually going to limit some users from accessing some routes and allow some users to access that route or those routes if it's going to be much. Okay, so yeah, first let's use learning management system as a use case actually. So let's say we have a route that only admins can visit. Then we have some other that's regular user can visit, and also we could have like a route that users can visit. Okay, well, if let's say a user can delete, no, like an admin can delete a user, like a user account, but a regular user can't delete other users' account. Of course, an admin can delete their own account. A user can also do that. So that route is going to be open to all. But a route that allows a user or an admin to delete other users, a user cannot have access to that route because they're going to be able to delete other users, which is not something we want them to do. Only secure routes for only admins. Maybe we have instructors or instructors. So an instructor can create maybe let's say a course or a curriculum. Yeah. So only them can do that. Or I don't know, admins. If we want admin to do that, because admin is like maybe like the super user, can do maybe all things, right? But then they might be able to do that depending on what your client or what you want actually, right? They might be able to create course or not. And of course, if they are not able to create courses, that means, or curriculum, that means that a user can't create course or a user can't create the curriculum. Also, admins can create the curriculum. So it's strictly maybe to, let's say maybe to mentors and instructors. So that route is going to be open for mentors and instructors. That creating of resources or maybe curriculum, it's going to be open to just two types of users, which are instructors and just maybe mentors. So yeah, we're going to do that now. So thank God we have a permission schema here. We have it implemented already. So the default value, okay, so let me just walk you guys through it real quick. So we have a user, this is a permission, and then it has a user key, a type key, created at and updated at there also. So this user, what it basically does is, and if you can see the type is object ID type. So it's what is expected to be here is actually an object ID, which is basically an ID of a user, right? So that's it. And then the type of the ID of a user is going to be the user's account ID. That's the type of ID it's expecting, the user's account ID. So it's expecting an ID and it's referencing the account collection. You see reference account. So basically when you create a user, you also get the user, when you create a user account, you pass the user account into this permission here, and it's going to be the value of the user as the user key. It's going to be the value of the user key. So when you create the user account, you also create the permission, and then you assign the ID to this key. The type, well, the type, you can see the type has a default value here. It has a default value. So in the case maybe you want to create the account for, let's say, an admin, we don't want, we actually want to pass in a value to the type here so that it does not use user by default. Okay, so the same approach can go for maybe instructors, maybe also mentors, right? So the same approach can go for that too. So depending on the type of account you want to create, maybe an admin account, a mentor's account, stuff like that, you get. All right, so let's, and also down here we are, can see we're exporting them, like we're exporting them as a model instead of just schema, exporting them as a model. Okay, so that's that for that. Let's jump back to our controller here. So we're still using the user's controller, right? Okay. Okay, so the reason why I still user's controller is because everything here is basically pertaining to the user. It's not as if maybe they are going to be creating something else separately. Everything happens immediately they are creating their account. So we create everything here. Accounts, permissions, profiles, everything gets created once immediately as they are creating their accounts. Okay, so that's that for that. So yeah, once we build our authorization, here we have authorization, right? So we could actually what's it called? We could actually export a lot of functions inside of this authorization, right? So let's check where we're actually using it. So it's inside our index file. So I don't know why I brought in mongoose here. Oh yeah, it's actually to connect to the database. Okay, cool. What have I not done here? Okay, I have authorization here. So the authorization is for profile. When you're trying to fetch, what's it called? The account. Is it the account? Yeah, okay. So when they're trying to fetch the account, what we are giving them instead is their profile, provided that their account information is going to be attached. Likewise, the permission is going to be attached. Okay, so that's that. This authorization, we could actually change this to maybe login authorization, or what do you think? That makes sense, right? Login authorization. Okay, so change it to login. What is the okay, login authorization like that? Same here, right? Okay, so after changing that there, right, we need to update it up here. So now it's no longer just authorization again. Okay, so we just have to destructure. So destructure it, change to login authorization like that. right? So after doing that, we come inside of the authorization. Instead of exporting this as default, we just export it as the login authorization. It's going to be exports dot paste that there, login authorization. So that's the reason why that we are doing this is because we want to export a lot of functions out of this place. So we'll have another one for exports. So this is so we can call this maybe admin authorization. Yeah, right. Authorization. Okay, so yeah, that's just it. So we need a request response and next. Okay, so that's the function. Okay, so basically what we want to do here is very much simple. All we have to do is we just need to bring in we need to actually check their user type, the type of user. So here we'll be checking for their permission. So, but first thing we want to do is check here. What are we what are we issuing in the main authorization? That's so in the what the okay. Let's be careful here. So while we're issuing, where are we even issuing the authorization? I think it's in the login, right? So we are issuing a login authorization here. So, but inside of this place now, we are not putting what's it called? The type of authorization. I mean the type of the user, which is the permission. We're not putting the permission here. So how should we do this now? Of course, we can attach it to this. Can attach it here to this login authorization, and then we're going to have the login authorization come first, and then afterward we have our admin authorization or whichever account type we want to check. So we can actually do that, or instead of doing it that way, in order to not get what's it called, the token we're putting here too much. I mean the payload, in order to not get it too much, you can actually use their ID. You can actually use their ID. So all we just do is okay. So here now we export admin authorization here. Copy that. So all we just have to do is wherever we want only admin to visit. So I think we have we're going to have like another route. So basically, all the routes we have here, of course, everybody can visit this route. So, but let me just use maybe this delete account, for instance. Make this bigger a bit. For instance, here, this delete user account, what I'm trying to say is we can have admin authorization come after it. So we know that in login authorization, we can get the login authorization, we can get the user token, right? From it, we can get the user ID and their email. So if we look inside of it, I think we can. So the part we call rest.locals user email, we can get the user email in the next middleware. Likewise, rest.locals.user ID. We can also get the user ID from the next middleware, right? So since we can get the user ID from the next middleware, it means that in this login authorization, it's passing like two things to the next middleware, which is the user email and the user ID. So in this admin authorization, we can get what's it called? Can get the user's login ID and their email. So we can use the login ID, I mean the user ID we get to fetch the user in this admin authorization, then use it to check for the user's permission, right? So after getting the user ID, we just use it to fetch the user information, and maybe from the database, and then from that we get their permission. So we use that permission to check here. If the permission does not, if it's not an admin, if the permission does not include admin, or if it's not admin, then we just yank them off. We just tell them that they are restricted to visit this route. So that way they are not able to get to the user, the delete user route. That means they are not able to get to the delete user handler. So we just take them off or take them away from here. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense to us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so admin authorization, right? So let's not use this route. So let's have another route. And actually, I'm already getting tired of having a lot of this going on here, like lots of routes here. So actually, in the model, okay, this is controller, right? So I think we can even have like another folder called routes. So, but what I like to do is actually to section our, well, I call it modules, right? So we have the user module. We can have user module. What's it called? We can have maybe another module. Actually, we can have profile module. Of course, everything is going to happen inside of the user, so like the user account. So we can have maybe actually, I can't really think of another module that we can have, since I'm only working with user here. And of course, maybe if we have like a learning management system, for instance, they might want to create a course. So I'm going to have a route for creating a course. So did I say course? Let's say curriculum. So we can have curriculum module, right? So everything is just going to be inside of that module. Anything that happens to be anything that's going to be pertaining to the to creating, let's say, a course, is actually going to be inside of the course module. So the course module is going to be a folder inside of modules. So that folder basically will have all the routes, all the routes there, all the controller, all the model, everything is going to be in there. So all we just have to do is just export from maybe the route, export from the route inside of our index. So just tell Express to use that route. We're still going to do all those things, but for now, let's just keep it the same. Okay, so yeah, now we have routes, right? So I can just call this user.js. So everything that happens to be to pertain to the user is going to come in there. So, well, for now, let me just keep it this way. So for now, let's say let's bring in what's it called? Express require this compiled here, honestly. Require Express, right? So dot if it's router. Okay, yeah, it's actually router. Okay, so this is painful. I can't even see anything. So, right. Okay. Check here. So set. Okay, come here. This is my Express. Right. So, so for delete, we delete. Call it slash user slash. Well, let this be slash admin slash delete. delete users. Then this is going to be okay. So now, since we've not implemented that yet, I don't know how we're going to do it. So make it to controller. Whoa, now the thing is, where are we going to create this? It's going to be inside of user controller or admin controller. Okay, so basically we'll be needing some things from here. If I'm going to be separating them, then we need some things from here. So what should we require? Oh, okay, I'm still thinking. We have a lot here. So of course we need what's it called? It's hard to get to the end of this. It's fine. So we need this user model file. So yeah, I don't really know how the front end is going to be like. If it's going to be if they'll have type of user. So we know that okay, you can actually use a single controller to create different types of users. So let's assume that if the form has maybe a type of user select field, like yeah, where they can choose the type of user. Maybe the user is admin, maybe the user is coming as maybe no. Of course, they can't have the user coming as an admin. Maybe the user is maybe instructor. Maybe the user is coming as a mentor. As just coming as a learner, right? So we can actually use that in the user controller, or if you are going to have it here, or in the user controller, for instance, you can actually use that to like filter or create permission for them. So if we know that the user is coming as a mentor, we know that okay, this permission, the person needs to be having a mentor's permission, right? And then the user is coming as maybe a regular learner, we know that they're coming as a regular user. So but here now, we don't know that for now, we don't know that. So for admin, the super user, like when we give the when we are creating the application, of course there will always be a first user there. So that user has like the whole privilege, has like maybe a super user privilege. So that user is actually going to be the user creating admin, like admin account. If you understand, so a user can create an admin account. Like that's the super user can create account for another person, which is another admin. All right, fine. So let's just create the endpoint here. So first thing we want to do is so firstly, we assume that we already have like a user in there already. So assume that. So export. Okay. Actually, I like to think through first. I like to imagine it's happening before implementation. So if you understand me. Okay, so create account, right? So what do we need? Actually, we need a user email, and then we need a password for the user. So if an admin wants to create an account for a person, the admin is going to put in their email. So we message them, tell them an account has been created for them, that they should change the password. So, and yeah, so they can actually log into that account. So pretty much everything, things that's going to happen here is pretty much the same thing with the user. It's just permission that is changing, right? That's what I'm saying. It would have been better, it would have been easier for us if we know that, oh yeah, except for the admin, right? Except for the admin that is not, that the user does not create their self. Okay. But yeah, why go through this stress? We can actually have, like, since we have all the things we need here, we can actually export just that same function I want to export from here. We can actually export it from there, right? But yeah, let's see. So of course, we need to validate what is coming in. Of course, we need to validate it. So we need to validate. So yeah, do they need to give us a name for the person? We need them to type a name for the admin. If needed, fine, no problem. So just when you're creating another admin, put in the person's name, put in the person's email, and a password that you want to use for them, right? Yeah, but of course we can actually generate a random name for them, right? We can generate a random name for them, knowing that they would be able to change their name in their profile, right? But let's just keep this the same way. So name, email, password, and confirm password. You know? Yeah, the admin can confirm the password for them. Okay. So yeah, let's just follow. Let's use this for them. So okay, let's use our try. So let me see if I can copy some things from here. There's a lot going on here, that's why. So actually it's the same thing we want to do here. Copy this. This system is really slowing me down. Okay, so what we have here, I think there's an error somewhere. All right, check this, check this. Okay, so we ended here. For try, right? It's for cache. What's this? Okay. Okay, yeah. So everything that is happening is almost the same in fact. The only thing that is changing is just their permission. So we could also do this inside of the user. So all we just have to do is check where the request is coming from. You could actually check the URL. Can use the URL to check. So all we just have to do is maybe check if it's coming from maybe a subdomain that is mainly for admins, right? You can actually check for the subdomain or check for the site, the URL, if it includes admin, depending on where they are going to be hosting the admin, what's it called, the admin platform, right? So you could also use that to check, or maybe have a way of getting, maybe in the form while they're submitting, maybe they can have maybe a name for the form. So maybe the name can include maybe admin form or something. So we just use that to know that, oh yeah, this is coming from admin, and create an admin account. So there's actually a lot of ways to do that. Well, it's fine. Let's just put our own here. But there are a lot of repetition here. One from the user and one from the admin. Okay, so let's just keep it this way. So the permission now, all we need to do is the type, right? So the type now is going to be admin. So yeah, let's check back to, let's see our model. So you see our schema has user and the type. So the type is expected to be a string. So we have a default, which is user. So, but now since we are putting a value, it's not going to take this default again. All right, cool. So take this off. So the login process is going to be the same. That is going to be the same, right? Yeah. And it's just putting their email and their password to log in. So they can use the normal route to log in. Okay. So if they log in from the normal route, I don't know, maybe the front end has to check to know where to direct them to. Don't really know how that is going to move from the front end. Maybe they check for their permission to see, to know the kind of maybe know the kind of dashboard to take them to. That if we're not the actual one redirecting, if backend is not the one redirecting, if it's from front end, so front end has to check for the type of the user, like the type of permission the user has, to be able to know where to redirect them to. So that is maybe to their dashboard, right? So you check for the permission. If it's a user, you take them to a user dashboard. If it's an admin, you take them to an admin dashboard or an admin area. So if we have like a separate, what's it called? If we have like a separate domain for admin, if it's maybe a subdomain, right? So there's actually a way the front end can, just display a form for them, have them log in, and then everything stays on their domain. Does not have to clash with the users or the regular, maybe the other users domain, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, what do we have here? Everything fine here, right? Looks good. So the type is admin, and created permission. Everything stays the same. So yeah, in the previous session, we're having issue with login, but I've solved, I've fixed that, right? I have. So yeah, I downloaded Insomnia. Let me actually open it. See what it looks like. So let's just, okay. So what did I call this? Let me see. Create user. Where's the admin here? Admin here. So create account. Just copy this and then go inside of our routes. So this route, we can actually call it admin. So admin, and then delete user. The handler is going to be admin dot. Yeah, so that's it. This is for creating accounts, right? Oh yeah, this is create accounts. So admin slash create. So route dot. Yeah, this is supposed to be a post. So this is going to be the delete. Now the thing is, an admin can delete their own account, right? And then we can also have another route for the admin to be able to delete another user. So if the admin wants to delete another user, it's going to be coming from the params, right? It could come from the params or come as a form body, depending on the amount of, if they are going to be deleting a lot of accounts, we can have it from a form body, right? them sending it to us as maybe a JSON, like an array of IDs. So we just delete all of them one time. So from here now, let's just work with deleting of maybe one. So delete, then give us the ID that you want to delete. So admin dot delete account. Oh, that's counts, right? So let's sorry. Let's see if we can quickly implement this one. Okay, let's delete account. So pretty much the same way request result response, right? Yeah, like that. So yeah, since we're saving the whole thing, yeah, we're saving the whole thing inside of a database here, so we need that. So if instance, if next, let's see. No, we are checking for request of params. Okay. Well, why would we want to check for it? Because we're checking for it, right? So const ID. So request.params.id. So we get the ID. So yeah, we get the ID. We can actually check. Now for the user before deleting. So I think we have user model. And now what this is doing is all the users, they are being created in a single collection, right? Regardless of the type of user you are. An admin, regular user, be a mentor, an instructor, anyone you are. Putting all of you in a single table, right? In a single collection. All that differentiates you guys is just the permissions. Okay, user model dots. So you say find by ID. So we can actually find them by ID, find by ID. So since it's an ID, just find them by the IDs, right? So what we're expecting is you passing the user account ID. So we fetch them here. Okay, so that's cool. We put the ID. Then we can have our .10. So we can have our .10 or can wrap this whole thing. So I really don't want to check for the type of if there's a params. So we can just use our try and catch straight to make everything easier and faster. So we have a try, also have a catch, fixing error. Error. So this route, since this route is actually expecting the params, that means the user does not need to be logged in. But what we need here is the admin, right? The admin. So the admin has to be logged in, but we don't need to get their ID. We don't need the admin ID. The ID we are getting is one we're deleting. So we're getting an ID and it's coming from the params. All right, so let's make this. So if there's an error, we log this. So, and then we also respond to methods JSON. Okay. So, okay. False. what's this message going to be? Okay, so an error. Well, do we need that? Let's just get the error. Slow using the system. Okay, so yeah, we find the user. So we can say calls user. So this is going to return the promise. So we need our AC can await. So we await this. So yeah, MongoDB is always going to, Mongoose is always going to return what's it called? A promise if we're not resolving this. So we just use await to resolve it. So now we have the user, right? So if user, think we have access to this doc. Let's say if user. Then up here, so we say console.log. Let me check what the doc is like. If user, so if there's a user, right? Basically just delete the user account, but we're not just deleting only the user account, we're deleting everything pertaining to the user. So I think we fixed something like delete user. So check, okay. So okay. All I need here is I need to delete their profile too. So let me just take it from up here. Deleted is so let me just take it like this. I'm going to explain this. So take it like that. So what we did here is, first thing, we find the user before even deleting the user. So we find the user first. So let me paste this. After finding the user, what we'll do next is delete the user account. So here now, call on, okay, so we have a variable here we need to use. So const, paste the variable here. So what we do now is user model dot find. Okay, so we can actually use this. We have the ID. Still thinking. So what, after we find the user, we just delete by find by ID and delete. So we find by ID and delete. So now we just pass in. Okay, so I need to move first. So then let's do this first. User dot underscore ID, providing that we're going to be getting the ID from the user. Yeah, so yeah. So the ID is coming from the user. So after finding the user, we save them in the variable. Then we get access to all the user information. So we just pass the ID here. Of course, we can actually use this same ID we got from the params. Of course, we can. So we'll find by ID and delete. So after deleting the user, now we need to await this also. So it's going to return the promise, so we await it. Okay, so if so we check if deleted user, that's if the user was deleted, then we get the user property. Continue. else, you can see the else part here is basically saying the user is not found. So I think this also. So first thing, since we check for the user up here, we find the user first, and then we do something with it. We find the user. So if the user exists here, we continue by deleting the user. So we don't need to actually check. Well, do we? We need to check if the user was deleted. If we do this, that same check, yeah, this same delete here, this same else here should go for checking the user. So if the user wasn't found, basically just say this, and then we try to delete the user. So if the user was found, I don't expect an error to occur while deleting the user, right? Because we found the user, so we want to delete the user. Then after deleting the user, okay, what this is checking is if we get a response from deleting the user, then I still don't see it as a relevant case. Always going to get a response after deleting the user. So yeah. So deleted user dot. Okay, oh, I said. So delete. So here, what this is doing is deleted user dot password. So the idea is let me keep this here first. So the idea is after deleting the user, we delete the user password. Why? Because we want to because I'm basically sending the response of the user. So after deleting the user, I'm sending what I got back from deleting the user. I'm sending it back to the client. So I don't want to include the user password. That's why I'm deleting it here. So delete the user's password. Okay. So I'm going to show you something. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, console log. So there's something I need to clarify here. So I'm logging deleted user also to the console, right? So first, yeah, let me leave that first. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so here I'm logging user._doc. Yeah, I want to see what that looks like. That's why I'm sending it to the console. Okay, so I think we can test now. Yeah. So after deleting the user, we delete the user password. Then we delete the user's profile, await profile model, dot find one, and delete. So we delete by the email. So after deleting the user, since we know that the user, let's say the user account, the user's profile, they're sharing the same email address. So we can use the user's account email address to delete the user's profile, right? So we just delete it by the ID, by the email. So that's what is going on here. So deleted user dot email. So their email is also easy to delete them. Find one and delete. Then we pass in an object containing their email. So that's what we want to delete them with. So after doing that, so returns true if the user's profile was deleted or /found or not. So deleted user dot deleted profile. So deleted profile, you know what's going on here. Basically, it's just if and else statement. So if deleted profile, that's if deleted profile, will return true. Else, let's assume that if it's undefined or null, it's going to be false. Return false. So, but if it's not, return true. So we save true inside of this deleted profile. So the value is going to be true. Yeah. Likewise, deleted permission. If we are able to delete permission, but this time, this case now, since the permission model, the user's permission is has this field called user. And then we know that is the user's ID that is going to be there. So we can delete the user by that ID. So we just check if the ID is the same thing, then we delete by it. Just put it user and pass in the deleted user ID. Basically, okay. So yeah, I wanted us to see. I wanted us to see what that looks like. So where is it? User model. So yeah, this is our permission here. This is the permission, and then we see this part here called user. So it's user, and then the type is object ID, which is basically expecting an ID. And then it's actually the account ID that it's expected. That's the user's account ID that is expected here. So that's what we did here. That's why we put, so the user's permission, we pass in the deleted user ID as the user, as the value of the user key. That's this key here. Okay, so, and then deleted permission, I need to do it like this to also state that it's been deleted if it was. So deleted permission. So actually there's something I did here, right? So let me take us back to the user controller. So there's something I did here. As you can see, I have let deleted user. Notice that this first one that is actually related to the user is titled, is named deleted users. No, it's actually a single user that is deleted. But then I just put S here so that I can define another variable here. And then with deleted user. Of course, I can, since I use let here, I can override it. I can just replace what is inside. I can replace what was inside this first, what's it called? The initial deleted user variable. So just replace it like that, right? So why I did that is, since we use await can return a bunch of stuffs to us. So that's why I actually did deleted users dot underscore doc to actually get the deleted, the user's information, to get the information itself, what we actually needed. What we need to get it. So here now, what I did is I just spread it inside of this curly braces here, so that it's still just going to be an object. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. So this is deleted user. So I'm going to do the same thing here, but then here I first of all see here I logged into the console without doing without actually getting the doc itself. So I'm going to continue by doing that here. So here now, I want to use let again. I don't want to use const. So so now deleted user equal to, forgive me, so there's some space. So put it in the curly braces, then spread it. Deleted user dot underscore doc. So first, we're going to see how it looks like. So as a matter of fact, let me remove this this console.log I did up here to see. Okay, so copy that. So after destructuring the doc out of it, I'm going to also log what it looks like after that. So you can see the difference. So first log here in the console is the initial, the main stuff we get from awaiting this deleting process here. So the second log again, the console is going to be the one from getting the doc part of it. So yeah. So I think I need to do the same thing also. Well, okay, For deleted permissions, I need to do the same thing. Okay. So the same thing here, just copy this. Use let to find this, so we can override it. Okay, just like that. So yeah, we can do this. The same thing with it. Okay, so deleted permission that's the underscore doc. So this part here returns true if the user's permission was deleted, found. So yeah, and or not was deleted slash found. So deleted user dot deleted permission. Okay, so we are still attaching this to the deleted user because it's the deleted user that we're returning here. I mean, when we as our response rather, so we're returning it as a response. So yeah. How about profile? Deleted profile. Did we do the same thing for them? No. Okay, yeah, we did the same thing for deleted profile. Okay, so yeah, this whole thing is getting too much. Let's just start by testing, right? I hope we don't encounter any error because can't deal with error right now. All right, so yeah, this authorization here, admin authorization, I don't think we need it here. So, so you know what? I actually want to copy this first. So copy that, Control C, then take this off here. Since we have our route here, this is I want to bring it in. So, login authorization. So the admin needs to be logged in first before deleting. So you can still use the login authorization for the admin. And after doing that, okay, you also get an admin authorization here, like that. So you must be logged in, and then you must be an admin before you can delete. So yeah, have we implemented the admin authorization? So where is so yeah, let's complete fixing this. Let's complete the fixing. I mean the linking of the routes. So here now, you still use require here. So now we don't need to do app.delete. So basically it's just app.use. Now we need to require. So let's bring in /routes/admin. So yeah, that's it. So we tell Express to use this route, the admin routes here. So we're not done here inside of this place. So we need to export the route to. Since we require it there, we need to export it here. So, well, let's just do our module.export. So export it as default module.export equal to route. That's we're exporting this express route here we defined up here in the first line. So because we've attached all these things to it, route the delays, route the proofs, to export it out. Okay. So yeah, admin create. So now since we know that we can actually put an authorization on this admin, the creating of an admin. We can put an authorization there because we know that there's always going to be a user that is creating this account, right? So we can even check if the user is logged in also, right? But I want to believe that before you can access the dashboard, or yeah, the C panel, or yeah, your dashboard. You must be logged in first, right? So we can also put the login authorization here. We can also put that there because we know that you're going to be logged in. So here now, and then you can still even check. Okay, so are you logged in before you can even create an account for somebody? Okay, yeah, if you are logged in, are you an admin before you can even create this account for this person? Yeah, can make our route so strict. But then, of course, if I want to create this account now, I need to log in somewhere first. But logging into the account, I need to be able to create the account first. So myself now, I don't have an admin account yet. So first, I'm going to remove this admin authorization first so that I can create the account as an admin first. Then come back here to put the authorization. Then I use it to create another account. Okay, so yeah, let's start up our server. Where are we? So yeah, okay, npm dev, I think. Whoa, okay, npm isn't recognized. Wow. It's not npm, didn't I? Whoa. Wow, this is a lot. Can't go through this right now. What's is going on? Last year. So good. We okay. So ls cd ls cd documents. I'm sorry. Ls cd. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so there are lots of crazy users here in this comment. Sorry, forgive me. I need to documents. Not this user. Okay, users. Okay. All right, let me just check from here. So the user is 18 stop. Okay. Where were we? So yeah, this user here, documents. Okay. So share. So npm dev. Oh yeah, npm install. Not actually done that. Okay, just yeah. While we wait for that, let's quickly set up right on there. Okay, so create one. So, okay, npm dev. Yeah, so we need to be sure about our routes. So close this up. So yeah, first thing, so we can create an account here. In this create. So now we can create an account. But then the admin needs to be created first. I mean, there's somebody needs to be logged in first before I can create. So I'm going to use the default route for creating a user. So where's it? User sign up. Okay. So user sign up. Like that. Where is you? Failed to. Oh. Okay. Import document. No. Where is that? Create the object. Yeah. Create. So that means first connection. But first connection. Okay. All right. So HTTPS. Wow. Struggling with this right now. Did I use S? Oh God. Local host 3000 / user / sign up. Wow, that's huge. That's a long name right there. Actually, that's being copied as code. Wow. So there's no way to edit a name here. We generate code being copied as. Wow. Okay, that's cool. Made a mistake there. Then they are using that as the name, and I can't edit it. That's something they need to look into. So it's localhost 3000, right? So sign up. Okay, so we need a user first. Users sign up. And then the request body needs to be a JSON object, right? Okay, so we just get a JSON object. Then, so we know we have email, right? So okay. So we might already have a user with this email address. So let's try login. Let's try login. So the password. Okay, so let's just try to sign in. And this should be a post request actually. Couldn't what? Couldn't connect to server. So localhost 3000 user login, user sign in, and app.post. So what's going on here? Okay, admin.js await is only variable in the sync block. Okay, so yeah, we're already getting some errors here. That's cool. The sync. Okay, for the creator of an account, the sync here. Okay, let's try this again. What is this? Oh yeah, a lot of error actually. So I think that's inside of here. So middleware. So actually we need to step out to step out with middleware, right? So let's check. Very cool. Are you not going to connect to a database? Okay, so it's not connecting to our database. I think we have an issue here. Okay, says supposed to throw an error. There's an error. Okay, could not connect to any server you. One common reason is that you're trying to access the database from an IP. Wow. Okay. Now I need to go to my is how I looking out here. So it's tough. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so yes. I need to sign. Yeah. Wow. Uh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. MongoDB is second. Okay, so I need to allow this network to be able to connect. That's the IP. Yeah, to be able to connect to. So that's it. Now you see how secure this thing is. You can't log into your anyone else can log into your database. They have to the IP has to be there MongoDB before they can log in. So MongoDB is pretty much secure. Like it's very secure. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was just quick. So so add contact. Oh, All right, we have to wait for this to take effect, right? So, so this is taking a while. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you can log in. This is why there's a database. It's be hard to log in from here. So post form for user not found. Yeah, that's true because we are not connected to the database. That's what we're getting at. But this is still loading though. So this is it here? It's here. Oh, okay. So this is not active. Let's try to log in again to connect again. So start the server again. Yeah, now we're connected to MongoDB. Let's start. Yeah, so great. We're able to log in. That's cool. Yeah, so now we need to copy this token here because we have the login authorization there to create a user. So let's new request. So yeah, now we are creating an admin. So of course the header, page, authorization. Yeah. Post. So yeah, are you guys still following? Yeah, are we here? Stabiola? Okay, so yeah, Mr. Emmanuel. Okay, well, that's cool. All right, so admin, create. Okay, all right, so yeah, so to be able to create an admin, right? Just copy this, paste this, having this password. I think we need another. Okay, we need a C password. Then let's check. Well, let's be sure. Okay. So, okay. Also, we have a name field here. Okay. So let's pass it. So now let's create this. Okay. Let's connect to server. Okay. Joy is not defined. Okay. Yeah, I didn't bring in Joy, Be Creamed, and the likes. So I need to do that. So paste. Yeah, okay. So, okay, let's try again. Okay, so we have an error here. Okay. Oh yeah. The password field spelled password. Try that. Duplicate key test. Oh, okay. So now this user, the account has been created already. So I need to actually look for a way to delete this user, but it's fine. Let me just create another user. So if that mail service is not defined. Oh, lots of errors. So this new service is okay. So we have email service now. Sadly, I would have to create another account again. Wow. So send request again. User created successful. Okay. So now we have to log in. That's this is going to be like the regular login. Okay, yeah. Actually, we could actually fetch the profile to see. Sorry. So it's profile. So Mr. Abiola, are you following? Check. To check the routes to be sure it's sending a request a valid route. So yeah, get so get profile. Okay, send a request. Oh, actually, I think it's posted. So if it's posted, then we did. So let's actually log into this user's account. So sign in. User request. So we need this. So okay, I think we created a user. So let's check the admin created just now. Actually, let's copy the email. Okay, so if you can hear me, if you can hear me, please let me know if you can hear me. Okay, so let's log in this user account. Okay, so the user's name is super user. So that's actually my gift user. It's fine. So get profile, right? So just passing authorization here. So post. Okay, so this is actually cool. Now we see we have a name super user. We have their status. So the status is still saying pending because they are not verify their account as their email address. Likewise, the permission. Now, the permission, the type is actually admin. So we've been able to create an admin account. So now, I will head back here to the admin routes. Now, I want to bring in the admin authorization here, what we created earlier. So I need to go into the admin controller. So do some things. Is it the admin controller? I think it's the permission. So we need to create the admin permission here. I think all we need to do is still basically the same thing to this. Now we need to check their type. So I think we need to bring in the controller here with the model real quick. So in the end, so we need their ID. We need our actual ID to use to check their. So when we create them. So we need the ID. Right? Put it in somewhere. So yeah. So I think since there's a login authorization here, we actually use that in this video. So fetch their profile. So post profile is get profile. Post profile. Get profile. So post profile is calling get profile. So come to get profile. Okay. Okay, it's getting the profile by the email. So that's pretty much what we need. So we need it to check the results. User model was fine. And then so we have a position here. Um, actually, so near the profile, find ID. And since we have the login authorization here, you can just use res.locals dot what's it called, user ID. Like the way we did up here for the login authorization, res.locals user ID. Okay, so now we have the profile model. So, yeah. Is here. So profile model, now we populate the permission. We populate the permission to so I think we can even use without permission instead of the profile. So we use the permission. This is our authorization. So we just say permission model rather. The permission, we can use your permission model. So let's find one. So all we need to do here is get user. Same thing as user ID. So this user ID, I think, is coming from the permission. It's coming from the user ID. Is coming from the login authorization. So it's actually pointing to what's it called? The user ID. That's the admin itself. The admin themselves. The admin's permission here. So we just check for the permission. So yeah. Sure. Check for the permission if there's a permission. Yeah. So if there's a permission there, okay, so if yeah, so if there's a permission, else, what do we say? If there's a permission here, user account not found. Show user account not found. So if there's a permission for the user, let me check if permission. So permission dot type. The type of permission is admin. So we tell them to proceed. Call next. Proceed. So else. So else. Now we can tell them that they are not authorized. Just be using same message. Let's try a catch. Actually, this one's so this now this can just say so for this catch block. So if there's an error in all these if there's an error in all these queries or all these codes, we can get the error. So we have error with message. So we just respond to the error message. So if else, you just can say, okay, so user authorized. These are not authorized. Okay. So if there's no permission here for this user, we know that maybe this user is not. So we know that this user does not exist, right? That's why we're unable to fetch the permission. So we just say the user account not found. So if there's a permission, we check the type of permission. If it's admin, then we say next so that they can move to the next middleware, which will be the handler. Okay, but if the user type is not admin, just say they are not authorized. So we say user not authorized. So now, so let's check our routes. We have them everywhere. So that's cool. So how about deleting this? So for deleting an admin, we've not actually created, not implemented a code. Have we implemented the code that deletes an admin? If we have, okay. Okay, I wait user will delete. Okay. That's cool. So yeah, can anybody hear me? Okay, great. Login. Okay, yeah, so let's try to create an account now. Anyways, I'm sure we'll be able to create this account because let's try delete the account because there are some accounts I need to delete. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be delete type. Then I think all we need is an ID to delete. So of course we need to log in account here. So we can grab the account ID. This is 97. So where's the error here? I'll wait for machine. Okay. Sure is inside of this authorization. So need a sync here. So I'll wait. Yeah, so we have user login. So okay, here. So delete account my admin. Okay. Paste that here first. But don't forget our admin needs to be logged in. So okay. This is the admin profile. So copy the, this is the admin profile. So just copy the authorization. Set here. Authorization. That's paste the authorization key there. Okay, so you need to actually get the URL. Okay, so the params, I mean, this ID here, after the delete is what we want to delete. That's user's ID to delete. So let's check here. Where is the route? Here. So admin deletes the ID. Admin deletes the ID. Okay, let's send this report. Sorry, we cannot process your details. Just not set it after this set. Okay. Okay, yeah. So enter admin. So where's the delete? This is the delete, right? So user, if user, just check this user, right? So many places to get this. So if user send a request out, else send another request. Okay, check authorization here. Okay, so if permission save it use, so we can actually change this. So where is this coming? Okay, so it's from delete accounts. Controller delete accounts. Admin 109. Okay, so yeah, where's that going? So 117. Okay, so where exactly is this mistake? Yes. Okay, so share this request. Okay, so we need to check something. So admin delete. me just change this request. Save it. Still getting false. Wow. Okay. So like something is working. I'm basically going to take up this. What is it? Okay, let's check this. All right, so okay. Okay, so we are connected now. Now let's check this request. Wow, still the same thing. Admin delete. It's for admin, it's working. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Create was okay. It is okay. It's the same. Wow. Still the same thing. Yeah, can anyone hear me? So, maybe the problem for me here. The response. This was response. Okay. Send this request. Okay. going on. Oh, that's something is basically coming from the ID. It's wow, be a lot of headache. Okay, so yeah, uh, let's try this again. Yeah, the same thing. Yes. So, who's the problem this time? So, yeah, this one, this way, this GK. Okay. So, the problem is for this whole check here. We have the middle of anything. Okay. Yeah, okay. Guys, I think we've far too long here, right? It's taking so long. Okay, but this whole thing seems to be not really working. So I don't really know if we are getting an error here. We haven't resolved. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this myself. So we'll continue from here the next time, right? Okay, so yeah, this is a good night for you guys. Please continue the other class. So